What's up?
What's up, man?
Are
So
you
we're
going
doing
out of
some
town for Christmas or are you staying in town?
going out of town, visiting my girlfriend and I are long distance. Um we've known each other for a super long time, but started dating a couple years ago and headed back visit her, visit some family and hang out, you know?
Or how does that work whenever you're dating somebody this long distance? Like, do y'all decide beforehand whose house you're going to or whose parents' house you're going to, or does that just come whenever you go to town?
Um well, dude, let me just start. First off, I never thought I would do long distance. I always thought like that shit is stupid. It could never work. Like I don't know, man. We just kind of like we were on a trip, a work trip, and we ended up just kind of hitting it off. And it kind of worked out because I had a bunch of reasons to travel to where she lives for like 3 months after the trip, and we just kind of hit it off like progressively through that point. Um, but I never thought I would do it. And she's got a few more animals than I do, so it's easier for me to make the trip. And I just like every
Mm,
couple weeks I'll just head over. We'll spend the weekend together. I mean, obviously with like FaceTime and stuff like that, it makes it a lot easier. Uh, as opposed to back in the day when you could only like write letters to people. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I mean, eventually
Well,
I'll get
talk
her
about
there.
that for a second too. What, as somebody that doesn't own any animals, what is it like having to literally, like, do you literally have to take your animal with you everywhere you go?
Well, it's so perfect because it's so like for the for those uninitiated, Nelson and I spent about an hour and a half chasing Kaylee, my dog, around around
Yeah,
the
the
road.
initiation indeed. Yeah.
Uh and it's just so obvious because you said something, you're like, bro, like, shouldn't she know better? Like, bro, she's a dog. Like, that's the thing, is obviously you can train dogs, but like dogs do dumbass shit, and and that's the thing, is Kaylee's even better than most. Like most people are
Yeah.
terrified to walk in the shop when Kaylee's there. She won't run out normally, but if you open the door and leave it open, she will bolt like a
Bro.
motherfucker, and
Oh,
she
dude.
will not come back until you
I'll
fucking
never
grab
do it
that bitch.
again. I mean, I'm going out there to grab something out of the dumpster, this box that Dylan wanted me to get so that I could put a ladder back in it, this bougie ladder that he bought that wasn't really working well. So I go out there to grab this box and I just hear, and I look over my left shoulder and she just stares at me. And I said, shit. And she goes, boom, she dipped so fast, bro. I just immediately started running, man. I don't think I quit running for 2.5 hours, man. Luckily I'm trained for stuff like that. I was like,
It
Jesus,
was
dude.
impressive, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm just sitting in there talking to Alex, and I'm like, man, it's been like a minute. Where's Nelson and Kaylee? And then I looked at the door and
Where are they both?
I was like, no, because I knew. Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, animals are like kids, and obviously they're lower maintenance in ways, um, but they never grow up. And yeah, I mean,
Mm.
what for the first few times I went and visited Tessa, it was like I would just board Kaylee. But I mean, dude, fucking boarding is so expensive these days. Like, it costs like $55 a night if you want to
Do
do
you
like
just
the
let her stay
daycare
at
and
someone
stuff.
else's house?
I just
Or,
take her
or
to. I mean, Tessa's. She's got a dog. She's got a few cats.
yeah.
Um, I just take her with me. She travels fine normally. Um, don't really
All
have
right.
an issue.
So do y'all have conversations beforehand as a long distance couple about what is able to be talked about at Thanksgiving dinner, what's not able to talk about at Thanksgiving dinner? What are the ins and outs of that? Like, what are you able to talk about whenever you go to Christmas? And let's say you may not celebrate Christmas. I'm not going to put that on your jacket, but
Um, I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty good about social stuff, I know where the boundaries
yeah.
are. I'm not going to go off on some weird fucking, TDS fueled rant or start talking about fucking Nick Fuentes at the fucking at Thanksgiving, Like, I'm like, oh, Tessa's mom. What do you think about the surging, fame of Nick Fuentes, or Candace's allegations of like, foul play from Erica Kirk? Like, I'm
Yeah.
smart enough not to do that, but Tessa has definitely warned me a couple times, like, oh yeah, my mom's gonna have a religious conversation with you one day and ask, like, you know, why don't you believe in God, or how do you feel about Jesus? And I'm just like, okay, I'll put my diplomatic hat on and try to say the right thing and not be too offensive.
Yeah, trying to prepare yourself for that mentally has to be exhausting. I don't know if I'd be able to prepare myself for a conversation like that if I knew that if I knew that the answer that I was going to give wasn't a good enough answer. How do you I don't
I
know.
mean,
How do you
I feel like it's not hard to give like a well, I guess there is, to someone who's trying to get you to like see the light. I mean, there is no
right,
satisfactory answer, I guess, other than
right.
like, oh yeah, I'll think about it and go to church with you or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, but I don't
It's
know. I
either
mean,
that or get out of my house on Christmas. What are you here celebrating?
well, I mean, I got invited. I got invited to their house, so
I
we'll see
got
how it goes.
invited. That's
I mean,
facts.
I guess they could kick me out.
No,
Uh,
they won't. They won't.
but
I'm just
I
messing
don't.
with
Yeah, I
you.
don't think so. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're both pretty aware and like uh I don't want to say social, like
Conscious.
yeah, like
Yeah.
self-aware people, like we know enough not to make a fool of ourselves. I mean, for my part of the family, I mean, there's like no boundaries, basically.
Yeah.
Like, there's not.
That's fire.
My dad is like me, he's got, well, yeah, he's changed a little bit in his old age, but he doesn't really give a shit. He's not going to get fucking butthurt about anything, much less
Yeah.
that she said. It's more her being like, oh, I don't want to say the wrong thing, and I'm like, trust me, it's impossible. Like, you'd have to go
Yeah.
so far afield that it's just not realistic.
That's how it was when we started dating too. I feel like they would just like my people are the type of people that'll be like, you got to eat. That's how we share love. Like
Yeah,
you have to eat this food, and it's just this big welcome. And her mom were both kind of timid and walking on eggshells, but I'm the one with the big family. We really don't have any family on her side of the family other than her uncle. So it's always my family, but my family is divided. And then, you got to do something with the Hills. You got to do something with the Donaldsons and my mom's side, my dad's side. And this year we're actually having it here, which I feel excited about, bro, because my whole life I was a loser. I never thought that I would be having Christmas at my house. You know
now
what
you
I
got the
mean?
big house with the nice Christmas tree,
Yeah,
hosting
bro, it's
everybody.
exciting.
That means you
Yeah,
got
and
to
by
cook,
the
though. That's
way,
part of the problem.
not to flex, but this is the junior tree. The other tree is on the other side of the.
Oh, the two Christmas
Yeah,
trees. There
yeah,
you
dude. This is
go.
the JR. That's my wife for you. I think she's got how many Christmas trees are up? Four.
All right. We're overachieving at this point.
Yeah.
Are they
We
real?
just love Jesus, bro. No, none of them are real. They're all
Okay.
fake. Um, but I'm interested to know what your takes are on the whole Candace and going on Piers Morgan, like because if I can just start by saying that I thought with her rapport, based on the conversation that they had, and there being some misunderstandings that were now understood, I thought that she was going to eventually start taking it easy. But we've had conversations in the past about how you can become a prisoner essentially to your fan base or to your commenters or to, bro. I watched her
Audience
go
capture.
live today. Dylan, she made $1,500 in like 15 minutes just in super chats. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right,
Did you see the
like,
part in the Piers interview where he starts talking about the money
uh,
she's making, and she's
no, I
like,
didn't get to it.
"Oh, I
She
think it
did
was
she act
really
like she
good."
didn't care?
Yeah, well, she was like, "Oh, I've been top 10 podcasts for so and so period of time. Like, what, you think I care enough to lie just to make it from top 10 to top 5?" So it was a little, I don't know. It rung a little hollow for me. I don't know how it comes off to our viewers, obviously, but I think
Hmm.
Piers is really a good measure. And I've said before, I think he does skew a little bit in the favor of like giving Trump extra charity, but I think he's a pretty good measure of like what moderate, just normal, everyday, non-internet people think. And
I do
when you
too.
have him there, just being like, but do you actually know what happened? Like, you're just asking questions, and you have a lot of these theories. You talk a lot about Egyptian planes and Israeli assassins, but like, what do you think actually happened on that day? And she's like, I don't know. I'm just asking questions. It comes off really weird. The fact that she's had,
I agree.
3 months or however long it's been worth of podcasts, and she doesn't seem to have much to show for it except just repeating the same questions and weirdnesses over and over again.
I
Like,
agree.
and you know, she says things talking about how like, oh, these TPUSA people lied. She mentioned specifically, I think, the like Superman neck, where like they say his neck stopped the bullet. Um, and she's like, well, he lied about that. The doctor never said that. And it's like, well, okay, Candace, if we're being super charitable to the TPUSA people, like the guy probably was just exaggerating, trying to make Charlie look better after he got fucking shot. You know, like the explanation for the lie, even though the lie obviously is not good, doesn't have to be he was conspiring to cover up the murder of Charlie Kirk. It could just
Right.
be that he was trying to make Charlie look a little bit better after, you know, he got shot.
Well, after all of this, I feel like there is no satisfactory answer to any of this anyway, because when she came back and she said, listen, all she said was, hey, I'm alive. I just sat down with her for 4.5 hours. A lot has been explained. People in her, I didn't see not one singular comment that hinted towards, oh, I can't wait to hear what transpired. I can't wait to hear the truths that finally come out of this. All that I heard, all that I saw was just, oh, Candace has joined. They got her too, and it's like y'all don't have like there's nothing that y'all have. There's no satisfactory answer, right? There's no satisfactory answer for these people. So if that's your fan base, how do you continue to thrive in your career, even if you were even if you did have integrity in your journalism? Like, how do you thrive in your career from there?
Well, that's the important thing when you make well, when you make any claim, you should know what it would take to prove you wrong, right? And reality is most of these people don't actually have a standard for what could prove them wrong. Like they're just going to keep asking questions because they keep seeing weird things or see potential
Hmm.
corruption, and they'll never be satisfied unless their conspiracy theories are proven right. Like I just don't, it's like it's an intellectual vacuum that you can just almost never escape from, because there's
Yeah,
really no standard for proving you wrong when you just keep asking the same quote unquote weird questions over and over again and drawing these like weird connections that don't seem to really go anywhere.
I think I'm sold on that too. I think that there's too much. It's just too deep. It's too deep.
I think there, I don't know. I think for a long time like the conspiracy theorist like side of the political aisle was like pretty uniformly going towards the right. And now with like
Hmm.
all the stuff that's going on with Candace, I feel like they're like separating and becoming their own thing. Like, I don't know, I don't want to
Mm.
say silver, but like,
Interesting.
well, I mean, you see Candace Owens talk about how like, oh, she's quoting like Ben Shapiro or Tim Pool or any of these people who are like, you know, somewhat legit like political actors. And they're like, oh, you're going to lose the midterms. And she's like, I don't care about the midterms. I care about the truth. So
Mm.
she doesn't seem to have like any party allegiance anymore. She's just in it for like I guess the conspiracy of it all, or you know, according to her, she's in it to pursue the truth. But she doesn't actually have any allegiance to party. And it seems like there's a decent amount of people, if you look at her views, that feel the same way
Right.
and are not thrilled with whatever's gone on under Trump. So I think that's like a potentially decent sized loss for the Republican Party
I think so
if
too.
you're looking at the
And I
political implications.
and I don't think that there's anything that'll satisfy him. There's no kind of truth that could come out. I talked about this recently on something that I did on my channel, but it was about just when people become habitual manipulators and when they become habitual. I'm not even I'm gonna be charitable. I'm not even gonna say liar. But when you become habitual at bending truth to your will, when you're bending truth to your will, when you're bending truth to appease a masses of audience, where at first it might be like, well, I'm not totally sold on this, but I'll kind of throw it out there a little bit, like I might kind of think about it. I'm afraid that what happens over time with these people is they get caught up in that, and then they don't even believe that they're being manipulative anymore because they believe that's really how they feel. And I think that Candace is wrapped up in that, and it's a shame to me because, like I told you on the last time we got together, man, I don't think that she's stupid. I don't think that she's crazy. I actually think she's very intelligent. I just, I don't know how, I don't have enough. Like if I was if I was reporting on this or if I was digging into it, I would be looking at it in terms of that's the number one priority to her, I feel like, is making sure that her audience is fed. And that
Well,
just makes her another big leaguer. It makes her another Fox News or another CNN, in my opinion.
I don't know if I want to call her stupid for this. We had a disagreement, you, me, and Silver over whether or
Hmm.
not she's dumb or what. But I think it's just like a logic issue where you have these people, they see something that looks suspicious or looks weird, and the fact is that something that looks weird is just something that looks weird, unless you have extra evidence proving that there's something else there. Like,
Right.
she mentioned all these things about the planes, and even if that's true, even if for whatever reason there's Egyptian planes following around the TPUSA Faith tour, that
But
doesn't.
what is that? Can you help me out with something real quick while you're on that? What does that insinuate?
She
What
would.
is the
That's the thing, is she wouldn't
insinuation?
even say like that.
Okay,
That's how like
that's what I thought.
nebulous the claims are. She He even specifically asked about it, and she said there's just something weird going on there. And she also mentioned the guy like Michael McRae or whatever, the TPUSA guy, talking about his dad and how she gives him really creepy vibes and how he's like alleges to be a pastor. The problem is it's so much bullshit. It's so hard to follow, and there's no substance there. That
That part, the substance part, is what's most important, right? It's like
Yeah.
there's no substance. Like I feel like you're just running around in circles with all of these it's weird claims. I don't know if but I don't even know if I'm disappointed in her as much as I am the people that follow her that are like, yes, that's what I'm saying, bro. It's like you have to have some kind of substance here. There just has to be some meat and potatoes, bro. It can't just be
Well,
a bunch of corn.
I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing with a lot of the right wing, like just stuff like this. I mean, we talked about Jordan Peterson. The way Jordan Peterson became famous is he was rallying against some Canadian new policy, basically, where they added trans people to like their protected classes in Canada, and they were like, "You don't understand the free speech implications of this. Suddenly we're going to be going through our day, and we call someone the wrong gender, and we're going to be arrested for free speech and all this bullshit." And the reality is, they just added them to their protected classes, so like you couldn't discriminate against a trans person on the basis of their identity, and that's it. And like, I still don't. I don't. I've you 100% chance it would have been amplified, even from the president of the United States, if somebody had been arrested for misgendering somebody in Canada. And it's never happened. But they take these like mundane, somewhat reasonable things and they turn them into the end of the fucking world. And I'll be charitable and I'll say it happens with CNN, on the left somewhat too. But I just think it's,
Of course.
I mean, so here's another example. I was talking to Tessa, and we she voted for Trump. We have mild political disagreements.
Let's go,
Um,
Tessa. Yes, ma'am.
and we were talking about Dearborn, Michigan, and she was like, "Yeah, I heard something about like a reporter up there who got assaulted." And I'm like, and she was talking about this guy, Jake Lang, who literally goes up there with a Quran and a slab of bacon and is like
Mm.
slapping them together. He's trying to burn the Quran and all this other shit. And granted, it shouldn't need to be said, but you shouldn't fucking assault the guy, even though he's trying to be very provocative, right? But the reality is, bro was fucking asking for it. I think in any situation, no matter the religion, if you're doing something like putting their holy book in the dead, which he literally did this. I don't know if I sent this to you. He put a Quran in a dead pig head, like in
Mm.
the mouth.
Yeah, you did. You
Like,
did.
I mean, idiot who's provoking people gets smacked. Like, is not a controversial thing, but it gets like repackaged by this like car wash, like Ben Shapiro said of the modern media, and turned into something that's like somewhat palatable. Like the reporter gets
Right.
assaulted for trying to speak the truth in Dearborn, and it's like, okay, that is so far afield from what actually happened that it's just not representative of reality anymore. And the problem is that people will just blindly repeat stuff on both sides, and nobody knows what's real anymore.
Right. And then within that, the hypocrisy gets blinded too, right? Like, let's say that guy would probably say that he's a Christian. I would imagine. I don't know him, but I would imagine that he would say that he is a Christian. That's against our moral compass anyway to do something like that. But even further into it, the Bible actually talks about pork being an unclean meat as well. That's just Old Testament law, so we don't really subscribe to it the way that Muslims and so whosoever does. But
Jews, yeah.
I was also watching something. It was on Twitter, I think, it just or on X, and it just was like on my feed, and this lady on a plane was like filming a guy that was just like kneeling down praying on the plane and was like, oh my God, what would you do in this situation? And I was just thinking to myself, he like literally was just praying. There was no extra sauce on it or anything. Like, and I was just like, for praying, bro? Like, and then I see stuff like that as someone who has, I do lean conservative. I'm gonna say that. But you look at something like that and it's like, how I'm so not like you. I don't even know where I belong. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's
Yeah.
it's weird
Well,
how this is transpiring right here in live time, right in front of our faces.
fortunately, I don't think that is the mainstream. I mean, he's running for I think he's running for office in Florida.
Yeah.
So he's obviously just trying to do publicity stunts and get attention to set himself apart. But and whatever, if he wants to be a provocateur and try to be edgy, go for it. But I think the issue I have with it is the repackaging of it and the like third
Hmm.
hand stories that get told on like Republican or conservative um social media that just completely dishonestly represent the reality of it.
I
Like,
agree. And then if something ends up happening to him for real, then it's an attack on democracy. It's an attack on. But sometimes people just get they reap the reward that they benefit themselves. Like sometimes you just deserve to get your ass beat. You know what I mean? And I think that that's where we're at with a lot of this stuff, and it's very unfortunate. It's because I didn't think we would be here. Somebody else that shout out to Tessa one time, somebody else that voted for Trump. I did think that we were going to be more unified by now, more than ever. And you can call me stupid, or you can say that, I should have known better. You can say whatever you want to say, but at the end of the day, I was sold on it, and I'm a salesman, so it wasn't just me. It's a lot of people. And I think a lot of people feel like they're being attacked by the other side. So at this point, it's just all against all. And if you don't agree with exactly what I agree with, I thought that it was bad 2 years ago, but now it's even worse, where it's like, if you like really, if you don't agree with what I agree with, then there's no hope and there's nothing that can be talked about. We don't need to have a conversation. I hate your guts. I want you to die. And that's where I feel like we're at.
yeah, I think there's a lot of people like that, but I think that slowly we're healing in a weird way. I
Whoa.
think
All right. Tell me how.
I don't know. I think this is probably a
You
hot
think more
take.
people are starting to bend lefty?
No, well, I think more people are just starting to see through Trump's bullshit. I think it's really hard. Like, uh, even when we started having these conversations, I said the only way to get to people is by actually affecting them, right? Like, people will
Mm-hmm.
never know the impacts of the politics is so far from the normal person's everyday life that the only real way they engage with it is legit like at the gas pump or at the grocery store, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so it's hard when it's hard to convince people of anything other than that, right? And you have Trump over here who's talking about the economy is A plus 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 and affordability is a Democrat hoax, prices are dropping. Meanwhile, you have people going to the grocery store and trying to buy, some ground beef, and it costs like an astronomical amount per pound, right? And
Right.
I'll give them credit. I mean, gas prices are great, right? But there's a ton of things that aren't great, and I think people are realizing that, and they're starting to slowly see through it. And that's why you have all these elections. Um, we just had a couple of like special elections here in Georgia. There was obviously a couple of governor elections that all swung pretty far blue um, because of that. Because I think he's just kind of losing grip on like for the longest time he had like a firm grip on what all of his constituents thought was reality. And I think that grip is
Mm-hmm.
slipping. And, for the first time ever, with the Rob Rayner thing, you have people in his party who are like condemning what he said. which I think
Well,
is
what do
a
you think
crazy
about some of these
development.
people that would still say, like, what do you think? Some of these people would still say that, that reality that you're talking about that they think is a reality is a reality. Like, what do you say to those people that are like, they feel a real threat from the transgender community or a real threat from what's happening with child deletions all across America? Like, these things are very real to me. These things aren't, I don't want my kids. And I feel like I do believe firmly, and I'm not even a conspiracy theorist, but I believe firmly in if you give an inch, they take a mile. I'm always going to believe that because it's human nature. It's human nature. If you give me an inch, I'm going to take a mile. It's really just a matter of how serious the issue is that you're giving me an inch about. Pause. But if you say, okay, we need to start teaching about trans in school, transformers in school, then what?
You hear Lindsay in the
Then where
background
do?
laughing.
Well, where do we go? Like, where does that take us? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
that's
mean,
opening a door for something that if we're being told the truth, which is this is 1% of everybody, then
oh,
why
I
is
think
it
it's under that. I
so?
thought it was like point one
Okay,
or something.
great. Then why is it so necessary for my kids to know about it? Why is it so necessary for my kids to learn about it? Why is it bad if my kids think that that person is weird? It's okay to show
How
them love, but
charitable
if you
should I
think that
try to
that's
be to the
strange
left
and weird,
here? Because this is the thing with like trans stuff is so difficult. So the vast majority of trans people just want to be left alone. Okay, like there is a segment of like super loud, insane online trans
I
people like on
can I
Twitter.
can I say this before you
Yeah, go
continue?
for
I
it.
want you to continue, but before you continue, I want to say that I disagree with that completely. I feel like it's a mental thing first and foremost, but overall, I feel like all they want is for everybody to admire, not just to say, okay, that's you, that's cool. I think that they're obsessed with getting people to admire them,
I don't
and
think so.
that's
So
go ahead.
I'm trying to think of the amount of trans people I've met in my life, like actually known. I think three.
It can't be three, bro. If it's three, then it's more than 1% of the world or country.
Yeah, but well, one was through like when I was a kid. Um, Not a kid. I was like 18, and my mom had met this person and told me about them. They had
Okay,
adopted some dogs. She used to foster dogs. Um,
this is important. What did your mom say about them? How did your mom introduce you to them
uh,
or introduce you to the idea of
well,
it?
no. So this person adopted a dog, and then we would always keep track of the dogs, and my mom would share, show us pictures of the dogs as they grew up, whatever. And they're like, oh, by the way, this person, now they're Harry or who, whatever their name is. They were female to male. Um,
It's just funny you said Harry out of all things you could
I
have
think that's
said.
what I could be wrong. I think that's what their name is. But the vast majority of trans people I've met just like don't want to deal with the bullshit. They just want to live their life and do their thing. Like that's just reality, bro. Like the problem is that the like think about all the trans people who have probably come into the shop, right? I'm
If
sure you
that's the
work.
case, if that's the case, then why are you going through so many hoops and bounds to become? Do you really? This is what it comes down to. At the end of the day, this is what it's going to boil down to. Do you really believe that they believe that they are the opposite sex?
I don't care.
Okay, no, that's a fair answer. I truthfully, I don't either. That
Yeah,
like you
like
do you,
just be
you do
who you want to
you.
be, man. Like
But
hey, you want me to call you
but if we're
whatever?
saying,
Cool.
well, listen, if we're saying all they want to do is be left alone, then just be alone. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they just want to live their life. They just want to, be whoever they want to be. If they want to get called, Mary, and they were born Steve, I don't really give a shit. I'll call you Mary. Whatever, man.
Well, that I can't call you. I can't. Well, I can call you whatever name you want me to call
Oh,
you.
okay.
Wait. I can call you Mary. I can call you Mary. I don't care about that, but I can't call you a she. I can't. I believe that you're a man.
In
That's
what
like
context, Nelson? Okay, in what context are you meeting this random person and you have to call them she? Like normally when
No, good point.
normally
The
when you
good
say she
point.
or he, you're talking about somebody and they're not there in the first
But
place.
if all of this is as mild as you're packaging it up to be, then why is it even a discussion?
Well, for multiple reasons. One of which is there's a lot of insane trans people out there, as there are any type of people, but the trans people are
That's true.
particularly online and they're particularly loud and particularly
So out of
amplified
that
for a long period of
1%,
time.
good point.
Um,
So out of that 1%, what would you say? 90% of the 1% are super loud and obnoxious because
no,
you're saying
I
that a
would say
lot of
way
them want to be
less.
left alone.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean,
It
it's
is.
50% or
It
under.
is.
Like I think it's a majority of trans people who are just like normal people. They just want to, have their sex change and just live
Okay.
their life as whatever they want to
So
be.
let's
Well,
I'll be
and so
charitable to
the
you.
other
Let's
well,
say 30. Wait. Let's say 30%. Let's say 30% of the 1%. So that is 0.03% of the entire world that we're having these conversations about. Why are we having these conversations?
well, that's the other half is it's been amplified by, fear mongering and all this other stuff
Or
into
has it been
being a huge
amplified by the
issue.
left into being a huge issue?
I think probably both.
Well, fair. Fair enough.
But you asked another question. So theoretically, I don't know if I really want to get into like me being super charitable to trans people argument about like theoretically the problem is like you want people to be able to be comfortable in their skin, and if you have kids who are already starting to like alienate each other over just random stuff like that, it's going to create problems later in life, right? Like if you just have kids who think it's cool to, I don't know, but the problem is kids are going to do it anyways, right? Like kids are going to call each other
Right.
gay, they're going to call each other whatever fucking slurs, like, so I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fucking
Yeah,
early
I mean, I
childhood
think it's
education
natural, bro. I
person.
mean, my 8-year old the other day, I don't want to put her on 7-year-old. I don't know if I want to put her on blast like that, but she was just talking about something in a negative light. I don't even remember exactly what it was, and she was just like, "That's gay," and I was like, "What? Where did you learn that?" You know what I
I
mean? But
can't
it
believe
has to
kids are
be
still
from
saying
school.
that.
Yeah, man. I mean, she learned it from school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not something that we say regularly.
I mean, dude, there's like 30-year-old grown men who still say shit like that. And I'm like, you really don't have like any better words in your vocabulary to describe something bad happening other than
I mean,
gay?
I haven't. I don't know if I've replaced it with a great intelligent word. I just kind of replaced it with whack. That's whack. But who knows, bro? In 5 years, they might figure out that whack is a terrible word and a terrible slur. I don't know. You know what I mean? I really
Yeah, they
don't.
do.
If you would have asked
There's
me at 10 years old,
new
I
slurs
wouldn't have
every
thought.
day.
Yeah. So, look what they did to Lizzo with what did she say, bro? Spaz. She was like, I'm spazzing. People lost their minds about it, bro. You should look that up.
Yeah,
Like,
I
people were
didn't know
like,
this,
you
but
are not allowed to say this. I'm
evidently
like, what?
midget is a slur for like dwarves. And dwarf is the
Well,
appropriate politically correct. I didn't know midget. I just,
and like even mentally
retarded.
restarted is we have to be careful if we want. Well, I guess we're not getting paid yet. Mentally restarted is a slur,
The R
and I'm
word.
like, what if you're really talking like and you have to understand, bro. Like people aren't programmed to retrain their brains. Like they're gonna stand on the hill and die on the hill that they want to die on and stand on.
Well,
Like
it's funny, like that whole thing happened in Indiana where I think Trump called Tim Walz retarded, and all the fucking Republicans rejoiced, and they were like, "So epic! He called him retarded. Nice one, burn."
that
Which
is fire.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
like it. I
I
like it.
guess, but
He is
like
kind
people are
of.
acting like it's the fucking burn of the century, bro. Like, come on, he called him retarded. Here's a
Well, how did
cookie.
we get there? How did we get
Well,
to where retarded is the burn of the
but
century?
here's the thing. Well, I guess. I mean, I think people just aren't funny, but um then you have like this Indiana, I think it was this Indiana senator. They were trying to do redistricting there, and this Indiana senator has like a daughter with Down syndrome, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not voting for this because Trump said that." So
That's
maybe
ridiculous
I
too,
guess
though.
stuff hits. Well, I it hits different when it affects you, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I think people got to quit. I'm going to stick to the script that I was stuck on 8 years ago and that I still believe today, which is that I believe that ultimately people you cannot be an American and be so sensitive, man. Like when people call me a cracker, I'm right in front of my face. I'm like, I don't care, bro. Like, and I know that that might not be a slur that says maybe since it doesn't offend me the way restarted offends this person or whatever offends this person, that maybe that, but to me, it's like, I'm just not going to be offended by that. It is what it is. Like, you're
Yeah,
talking about the police, you're talking about people that have oppressed you. You're not talking about me. You know what I mean? I could care less just because I identify with those people because of my skin color. I don't care. You know what I mean? I just think that at the end of the day, words are words. And we all, like, I grew up on sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. And there is truth to that. We have to quit giving in so much credence to words being so harmful, because somebody's going to end up getting punched in the face or dying. And then what? You know what I mean? The words didn't do that.
yeah. I don't know. I agree. I think for sure people need a higher threshold of, tolerance for people being mean to them or saying critical
Yeah.
things. I mean,
I
I think
will
we've
say that
talked about
about
this.
you. I'll say it publicly right here while we're talking on air. I will say publicly, you got tough skin. I have tough skin. A lot of people in this world just don't have tough enough skin to make it through such a tough world.
What's the answer to that though? That's the problem is like how do you teach people at a young age to have tougher skin? Like I feel like the
It's a good
answer
question.
everything's a consequence of parenting. Well, a lot of things are consequences of parenting, right? So like,
Hmm.
thinking of my dad, he has like no boundaries when it comes to like the things he says, the jokes he makes, whatever, right?
Hmm.
Um but I don't know if I attribute that to me having tougher skin. Like so I
I
don't know
don't know
how
how
it
to I don't know the answer, to be honest. As a parent, I'm a parent of two, and I don't know. I talk to my wife constantly about our oldest, mainly our oldest, uh just being so spoiled rotten that we're worried. You know what I mean? It is a worry. Like me and Lindsay have never had anything. Like we never had any handouts. We've had to grab and go out, work, grind, and get everything that we have. And for like her to just have whatever she wants, basically, it does worry me. It's nerve wracking,
well,
and
here's
I think that it'll ultimately make her soft.
I think it depends. There's so many factors that go into it. I had this weird experience. Like I don't know, we had a bunch of family bullshit going on at the time, and my mom was like, "You're gonna go crazy one day. You're telling me you're fine, but I don't believe you. Go see a therapist. Whatever." And I was like, "Whatever. I'll go see a therapist." I think I was like 17 or 18. I was like, "Okay, I'll go see a therapist." I talked to the therapist. Therapist was like, "Oh, sounds like you have super healthy coping mechanisms. You're fine." And I was like, "Cool." Um,
What was that like?
but
Real quick, off track. What was that like when you got to go back to your mom and be like, "Guess what? I got
I
super
got the
healthy
rubber
coping."
stamp, bitch. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
say that to this day. I'm fucking, therapist approved, perfectly mentally stable, healthy coping mechanisms.
That's good.
Um, I should have gotten like a plaque, I could just carry
Yeah.
around or I could have put on my like Tinder profile when I was still dating. Like, no red flags here. Um,
That's funny.
but so the thing that was my sister is a year and 9 months younger than me. The thing that was interesting to him is that we are so close in age, but like on drastically opposite sides of like, I don't want to say mental stability, but like the healthy coping mechanism spectrum of like, she has super thin
Mhm.
skin, and cannot cope with anything in a healthy way. And I like everything just rolls off of me. So it's
Right.
weird considering how close we were in age, how we went through the same things, how we had the same parents, how we're
Interesting.
on just drastically opposite sides, right?
That
um
is really interesting now that you say that, because I've always attributed my ability to just kind of get through stuff as what I've been through. But if y'all were, carry on. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
yeah,
off,
no,
but
I mean, uh, that was the extent of the point, and that's why it's hard. I mean, I think there's this like tendency where like even politically this happens where things like rubber band, where like you swing
mhm.
to the right, you swing to the left, you swing to the right, you swing to the left. I think it's the same thing with like parenting, where like uh like my grandpa, he had like nothing. So he tried to give his kids everything, right? So, he was broke growing up. So he wants to give his kids, like my uncle went to prison a bunch of times or one time and all these other things. And my grandpa still, paid paid for his health insurance, bought him, paid for, new stuff to set up a business for him, all this stuff, when the guy was in like his 40s, 50s, right? So, and
Right.
then, you swing, I guess, to our generation and, they got everything and they're like, well, we don't want to go too crazy. And I think it pendulums like that. And I
Yeah,
think it's really hard to find like what the optimal thing is.
it is. Because even I'll even extend off of what you're saying about it was your grandpa
Yeah.
that. All right, I'll even extend off of that where I even feel like my grandpa, my like, I did. I'm that person with my kids where it's like I didn't have anything. I want you to have everything I didn't have. But my grandpa was also like if I learned anything from my family, it was if that's your family, they deserve the shirt off your back, no matter what they're doing, no matter what they've been through. And I watched them do it with my dad because my dad was in and out of prison. My dad had issues. I had issues, and I just consistently watched my grandpa just act like nothing ever happened, and just looked out for us because he believed that that was his duty. And I do think that there's value in that, but I also think that you have to be careful with that. Like I don't know. I turned out fine. My dad is turning out fine. I don't know if every human being on earth turns out fine when they're just handed everything and they never know hardships
Probably
or
not. Yeah. Yeah.
right.
I
So
mean,
it's
I'm
tough.
inclined to say, it's one of those things where it's not like a perfect link. It probably skews them towards probably not turning out fine, but it's not 100% chance by any means. I'm sure there's a lot
I
of
would
things
assume
that
so
factor
too.
in. And
Yeah.
I think with appropriate context, everything matters. Like if you give your kids stuff, but you teach them that it's not normal. Like it was so funny. Oh, I'm gonna
Which we do
butcher.
try to do. We do try
Yeah,
to do that.
I'm gonna butcher it, but I was, my business partner's kids. I was helping her with homework once, and she was trying to use like a crappy eraser. When
Hmm.
the erasers, and so I found a regular eraser and I handed it to her and I was like, oh, this should make life easier for you. And she's like, Uncle Dylan, my life is already really easy except for homework.
That's good.
I was like, I
That's
lost it,
pure.
dude. It's
That's
so
pure.
pure.
Yeah,
But like, I think there's something to at least understanding that your life is way better than most other people's that
I agree.
probably like centers you in a way. And
Well, that's where
you'd hope that,
second dog. That's where this one right here, that little Tasmanian devil. That's where she scares me because she doesn't realize it.
yeah. I
Like
think,
you know what I mean. She'll have the world, and then she'll be like, "Well, I'm kind of thinking about Jupiter too." And you're like, "Well, you can't have Jupiter. You have the world." And it's like, I want Jupiter. You know what I mean? And that's like all they can think about. And I'm like, where did this mentality come from? It's strange, actually. Now that you talk about it in this light, it's strange how people's mentalities are so different from one another. But I also think that that's really important, even when you're discussing all the things that we've been discussing up until this point. Is like different people think about things completely different from the next person. And what are you going to do about that? Nothing. There's nothing that can be done about it.
yeah, I just think it's fucked when we can't agree on like basic reality.
Basic
Like
reality.
who pays tariffs? Who pays them?
Yeah,
Like,
we do. We
yes,
do.
yes.
Now,
And it's like,
is that looked at? This is the way that I call me. You can call me stupid, bro. It's okay. You can publicly scrutinize me right here because you're probably going to want to. But what about if I look at that as okay? I'm paying this extra amount of money on X, Y, and Z. But if he really hooks me up at the end of the year with like 6 extra grand or whatever astronomical crazy number they're trying to spend and sell for taxes, I'm going to be looking at it like, oh, that was just a savings account. Sounds good to me. You know what I mean? And I think that that's what they're going to try to, I think that's what they're going to try to frame it as and turn it around to is like, well, look at all this money you're getting back on your income taxes, which I haven't even gotten anything on income taxes in probably 3 years. So it's like, that's going to feel good. You know what I mean? Like, oh, wow, I actually get something. That's amazing.
I mean,
And people are going
if
to
that
attribute
did
it to
happen,
the
then that
success
would
of tariffs.
if that did happen, then that would be great. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. I guess that's what I've been saying to you since he got elected was we'll see.
Well, my thing is, we'll see that I end up being right. But dude, so here's some breaking news. I was listening to our glorious leader give like some address. I don't know what you want to call it. It wasn't a State of the Union, but he spent like 15 minutes talking just now, talking about some Venezuela stuff and all this. Evidently, they're going to be doing. It's called the Warrior Dividend. They're sending every soldier $1,776 for this Christmas, which is kind of crazy.
$1,776.
Yeah, at least they said. I think that's what they said. I would hope it's not $17.76. I'm pretty sure it was 1,776.
Bro, if it was $17. That's how you win votes, bro. I mean,
mean,
talk people through their pockets. That's what he's been doing from the beginning, and I'm not frowning on him yet, man. It's going to take a little bit of time. Is he the smartest president? No. In terms of just like, even in terms of like conversation, bro, like no. But if he's a businessman and he knows how to put more money in our pockets right now, I think that's all the real that's what people really care about. We can pretend to care about all this stuff like the trans transformers, and we can pretend to care about all this stuff, man, but at the end of the day, the main thing I think people are really focused on in the middle class is how can you make my month better this month,
yeah.
you
Well, I
know?
think that's how he's going to get brutalized. I mean, we're
You might be right.
we're doing
And
whatever you want to call it, war, whatever it is with Venezuela. I mean, they're not doing 2000. I honestly don't even know how they're doing the 1776 dividend. Like I would have assumed that's something that has to go through Congress, but maybe they're doing it with like tariff money, I guess, or something like that. Um, so I guess your $6,000 check just got cut up to send some.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that as long as if it's going to soldiers, I'm okay with it in whatever way, shape, or form. Or even this, like I'll keep it real simple and plain. If it's helping people, I'm happy. I'm good with it. I just don't want it to be going to waste, you know? But I'm also in a privileged position where I'm not struggling so much, you know, and that's a privileged state to where I can say that. I mean, if you're making, let's not put a dollar amount on it. Let's just say that if you work, I work multiple jobs and I do YouTube. If you're working one job and let's say it's like convenience store, whatever it is, you're trying to take care of two kids, that's different, bro. You have a different mindset than I do. What like you're looking at your taxes like, all right, I only made $800 these past 2 weeks. Where did 150 of that go, bro? You know? And that's a fair question. It's a fair assessment. And a lot of people don't know how to look that up.
Yeah. Well, I wish Silver was here to argue with you about the implications of the big, beautiful bill tax cuts. Because it's not ideal. I mean, I think it is.
No,
I'm curious what
I
the
don't
actual tax
I
impact of it's
don't
going to be.
disagree. I don't disagree with you. I don't know. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean,
That's all.
I'm actually curious what the implications will be for you, because obviously the big cuts are the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and the thing people don't understand as well is it's not no tax on tips, all tips. It's no tax on tips up to like the first $25,000 or something like that. So
Which I will tell you, as somebody that used to wait tables, even that is fire. Like
yeah,
that's fire to the people out here that are waiting tables. But this is what I will say. I hope I'm not putting people on blast by saying this. I would hope not. You're not claiming all of your tips anyway. Like you only claim 10% of what your credit card tips were.
yeah.
So you're not really claiming. You know what I
Well,
mean?
people screw themselves out of social, which I guess I don't know. Who knows if Social Security will still be a thing, but that could have implications for your Social Security and stuff in the future. And
Well, I'm already, and I don't know if other people should feel this way or not, Dylan, but I'm already of the mindset that I'm not going to have that. So
That'd be pretty
I'm
fucked if we paid a bunch of money into
it
it and
would.
end up
It
not
would,
getting
but
it.
I already believe that. Like I've been hearing about it since I was probably 20 years old and I'm 35. Like about how Social Security's not looking good. Social Security's not looking good. By the time I hit 30, I was like, all right, I got to take matters into my own hands.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? What they'll probably do
Which
is just
maybe
keep
that's a
pushing the
privileged
age
position
back
too.
further and further. I mean, they just pushed it from like
Yeah.
65 to 67, I think. So who
Yeah.
knows? I mean, if we figure out immigration, we find a way to actually get more people into the country without, while helping them assimilate or whatever the standard needs to be. That's definitely one answer to it. Because even undocumented immigrants have contributed a shitload to Social Security, and the thing is, they don't take any money out, so
Well,
it's a potential
I would
solution.
also prescribe people that if they're going to take, I don't know, you have to take one or two routes, right? Like if you're not going to be well versed on all of this information, you have to either figure out a way to be optimistic about
If
it,
they're not facts
or
guys,
yeah, if we're not like if you're like me and you're not a factual type of person. Can't believe I said that, dude. Uh, you have to either be optimistic or pessimistic at the end of the day. You can be optimistic and try to take matters into your own hands. One of my favorite things that Dave Ramsey says is like, when they were running, he was like, I'm going to vote for Trump. But at the end of the day, don't put the trust of your pocket into the president's hands of the or into the United States president's hands, bro. Like, take matters into your own hands, and that motivated me in a way. I was like, you know what, he's right. Like I can't sit here and depend on the president or the government to make things right for me. I have to get on the ground and I have to go out there and I have to get it. Now, I don't know if everybody has the same I'm not even trying to float my own boat. I don't know if people have the same capability as me whenever it comes to just like I wake up in the morning, I go get it until the sun goes down, and then I come home. I mean, I'm
yeah,
gonna
you're
do it for
different than
mine.
like almost anyone I've ever met in that regard.
I wonder what that is. You know what? I had a conversation. I can say this here. I can't say this on my regular channel because there's too much like drama centric stuff that goes into it. But I can tell you here, bro, that guy that I brought to the vape shop to get that interview that one day, I told him, I was just telling him, like, bro, I really don't have time for drama, this, that, and the third. And listen to what he said to me, bro. He said, this was in a text message, of course, but he said, bro, shut up, whatever, man. I know women that work more than you. And I was like, no, you, first of all, you don't know women. Second of all, you definitely don't know no woman that works more than I do. I thought that was the craziest thing he could ever say, bro. And he meant it. You know what I
That
mean? And
is
I'm
such a
like,
weird thing to say. Like,
I agree, bro. I just, that's the moment where I knew it was like, all right, bro, you're just trying to.
was he in a relationship? Is he in a relationship? I can't remember.
He is in a long distance relationship as well.
What a
Maybe he
fucking
can
loser.
heed some advice.
Oh.
Maybe he can heed some advice from you, bro. No, he met a girl that became a member of my channel, and they met through my Discord, and she's apparently moving here. So yeah,
Wow. That's
yeah,
kind of fun.
yeah,
Matchmaker
man,
in the
yeah, bro.
hitch.
I but you think I get no credit for anything? You know what I mean? I'm just the bad guy. I'm the demon that made his life horrible.
Um,
But
that's crazy.
anyway, is there anything else you want to get to? Anything that's pressing you before I have to get off of here, man?
Mm, no, this was fun.
This was a really good one, bro. I like
Yeah.
this. I
Obviously, we
told you,
tried a
bro,
little
just let
different
me
format.
talk to you a little bit at first. Yeah. What's your favorite color, bro?
The problem is it's so long, man. I don't know. Who knows
It
if
is.
anyone's actually going to watch it, but it was good. Kaylee wants to. Hey, oh, she's sitting behind me.
Kaylee, what's up, girl?
that's
Hey,
the
yo.
face of I want to go out, Dad. So that's what dog ownership, bro. She's such a fucking weirdo too. Like she'll like lay, back, I guess, just behind me and not do anything. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm in here working or whatever, and she's chewing a bone, and sometimes she'll just lay there and look at me. And she'll like whine a little bit, like she's got to go out. And I'm like, you just went out. Give me a sec, whatever.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I look back and she's like 3 feet closer. And then,
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. And then I look back and she's like right next to me, like fucking whining in my face. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
For the viewers, bro, for those of you that don't know, this dog is an extraordinary dog, bro. That dog is crazy, man. I
She's
love her. I don't love animals. Does she you think she knows who I am by looking at the screen? Hey,
maybe she can't
or
hear you.
I'm through your headphones.
Yeah. She's just looking at me.
What's up, girl? Yeah.
No, she's half husky. She's stubborn. I don't know. I got what are you doing for you said you're having a bunch of people over. Are you doing anything for New
Yeah,
Year's?
man. No.
Okay.
I'm probably I'll probably that'll be more of a friend centered night over here.
Hmm.
Having the family over for Christmas is a big deal, but I'm also, I'm my wife is going to go crazy about that. So we'll see how it feels in the
Are you
moment.
doing all the
But
cooking or is everyone bringing stuff?
everyone's going to bring some stuff, but we're thinking about just making it like instead of like ham and meatballs and all this crazy stuff, we're thinking about just doing like finger foods or maybe catering. I don't know, something to make it easy on Lindsay.
Catering is extra. That's
You think
crazy.
so?
I mean, I don't know. It's just, I mean, I feel like if you got that many
It's a
people
lot of
coming
people,
over, you
bro.
just have them
It's a lot
cater
of people.
themselves. Like, you got to pay the tax if you want to, you got to smoke a
Yeah.
turkey or, smoke a ham if you
Yeah.
want to get
Well,
through the door.
that's going to be the downfall of putting it in my hands, bro. Because like my grandpa wanted to quit doing it one year, and now my uncle don't really want to do it anymore. So now it's like, all right, if you're putting it in my hands, bro, we're going to do pigs in a blanket and hamburger dip. So,
I
and
mean,
I'm cool with that.
yeah, I'm not
I'm
mad
cool
at
with
that.
that. Yeah,
Never mad at
my
pigs in a
kids don't
blanket.
care about none of that. My kids just want presents. Bring them. You
Yeah,
know.
that
So,
sounds fun.
but New Year's Eve should be a good time for Lindsay will hang out with her friends or whatever, and we'll bring in the new year together. But it won't be anything spectacular. I'm hoping that we'll just be able to chill here. Um, I'm just starting to feel like this is my house. I'm not even trying to brag, but I'm away from here so much, man, that it's nice whenever I just have an opportunity just to chill, especially when softball's not going on. So,
How much time do you have off your second job for
oh,
their
so much.
Christmas?
Oh, a week, just a week.
It's pretty
Well,
dope.
I probably, I mean, I make my own schedule. Let me look real quick. I'll tell you the exact dates. So I'm starting on the 22nd of December. I'm not working. And I might work on the 29th, which is a Monday. And then I won't come back until the 5th.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I don't know. I got nothing. Candace Owens, trans people. We covered the gambit.
Yeah. We threw a little Nick Fuentes in there too.
Yeah, gotta. He's just so relevant these days. That was all the comments on our last
Yeah.
video was like, Nick Fuentes owned Piers in that interview. And it's like, bro, it was an interview. You can't own someone in an interview. But
I
okay.
don't think so, man. That's another conversation for a different time. Maybe I'll feel a little bit more froggy next time we have Silver up, man. But like, no. I've watched it three
I mean,
times now. Like, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, okay, how do they come to this conclusion? No.
yeah.
No, we didn't, dude. Like, he
we
did not own Pierce because you guys worship the ground that he walks on and you recognize his jest. That doesn't mean that he owned Pierce. You know what I'm saying? I just like all of them are F boys, bro. I probably shouldn't say that. Probably shouldn't say that. That's a bad idea. All of them are not quite
gay.
grown men yet. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, bro. Like, get some women in your life, man. Get some women in your life. Understand, like, it's okay. Like, I'm a he-man, bro. Like, I'll go to the gym. I work out. I do all the things.
Did you watch
I work.
the
I take care of my family. But guess what, bro? I love being around my wife. I love being around women. It's a good thing. It's a blessing, man. You should try it sometime. It'll change your life.
yeah. Did you watch the Piers Tim Pool / Milo / Steve Crowder thing?
No, not yet. But
You should watch that too.
I did see Crowder. I do want to tell you this, man. If you haven't seen the full Crowder Nick Fuentes thing, he did good. He did a good job. It just took him a minute.
Okay.
It took him a minute, and once he got going, he got going. But it was still more based in the form of conversation. Whereas I feel like Pierce's mentality was, can we please just show the world who this guy is? I think
Yeah.
Stevens more so the world knows who this guy is. Let me talk about my differences in opinion with him. But it took a minute to get there. He wanted to get him comfortable. And once he got him comfortable, then he went. So what Steven's critiques were with Pierce were valid, but I also feel like Pierce's mentality was just like, why fluff it, bro? Like, let's just and for all of you out there that think like, let me tell you something, man. I played the interview for my wife who doesn't know anything from a can of paint, right? Let me just tell you what the regular public thinks, right? Because that's how I judge it. It's like, what did my wife say about it? That's probably what that's what the majority of women are going to think, and that's probably what the majority of people who don't really follow this stuff are going to think. My wife was like, "Who is this crazy psychotic white boy?" Like, let me just, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, Lindsay, there's a lot of people that really look up to this guy. There's a lot of people that are really like trying to follow in his footsteps, especially now that Charlie's. She was like, I don't believe that. I don't believe that there's people out there that like him. Are you kidding me? They like this? That's just real. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So if we can get out of the internet facade for a minute, Pierce did his damn thing, because what I showed her was the Pierce interview.
Yeah. I
So
agree. On that note, I guess we'll be back with Silver next time.
yeah, why not?
And we can talk
I
about
enjoyed it, man.
30 odd sixes and super nicks and some
And
pandas.
for anybody on here that follows this channel only and doesn't follow mine, salute, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff.
There's
We'll
probably
see y'all
like
soon.
maybe one of them. So salute to you. See you, buddy.
That's lit. Dylan's mom.
That's probably it. Yeah. All right. See you,
Bye,
bud.
y'all.